One of the really nifty things about my pattern shadow block socks is the under the foot gusset, which has this little surprise pattern in between the main pattern that wraps around your foot. In order to do that, there's a few little techniques that even experienced sock knitters might not be used to, so I thought I would demonstrate them here. To begin with, we start with how we set up the heel stitches. I've knit a little sample here, very short foot, so that I could just get to the part where we were going to start the heel and show you how that's done. In many socks, you just start at the beginning of one of the needles and set off the number of heel stitches that you want. In this case, we want to split them between the start of the row being in the middle of the heel stitches. So the directions tell you to keep the start of the row marker in place and to redistribute your stitches so that for the small size, there's going to be 15 on each side of the start of the row. So to do that, we can take another needle. Oh, first of all, I forgot, the directions tell you to break both yarns. So let's do that. Then we're going to take 15 stitches to there's 15. And I'm going to take my marker, which has been clipped since it'll fall off the end of a double point, and now put it right there to show where the middle will be. And I'm going to take 15 from this end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right. The other stitches can be held on just one needle. Here are the extras over here. I'm going to put them on the same needle. Or if you'd like, you can split those stitches onto 2 needles to hold them. It might be a little less awkward. So now my stitches are divided in half, as you usually do, but the heel stitches are crossing the beginning of the row marker. All right, then we're going to go ahead and knit our heel flap and turn the heel, and by the magic of video, I will be back here with you in just a few seconds to show you what to do next. Okay, here we are. We've knit the heel flap. We've done the heel turn according to the directions, and now we're going to start to form this beautiful gusset. So the general idea here is that the stitches that you are left with after turning the heel are going to be decreased away under the foot. In order to do that, make the edges nice, we're going to borrow a stitch from each side for making those decreases. All right, so let's get started picking up those stitches. I'm working the size small on my sample here, so the directions tell me to pick up 15 stitches along the first side of the heel flap using needle number 1, the needle that already has these stitches on it. If you have a set that has 5 needles, you can use a separate needle here and that will simplify things. My set only has 4. I pick up through both loops That's personal preference. You can do it through one if you wish. Now, at the same time we're picking up, we have to follow the first row of chart C. And you'll notice that that first stitch does not start at the far right-hand side of the chart. You have to go over a bit through some no stitches to find it. All right. I have to do 4 with my color A. So I pick up and then I knit. That's 3. I pick up and then I knit. That's 4. Now I have to add in my next color, color B, for the next stitch. Oopsie, I split. I've pulled this out a few times to get the video right, so now my yarn is kind of splitty. I don't know, I can't do a perfect video in one take. I don't know about you. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to follow the chart. So my next stitch is going to be color A, and so on. The only thing I want to caution you about here is remember that you have a repeat in there. Okay, so there's some, actually it's 10 stitches there that will be repeated. Okay, so don't just read chart C all the way to the end. You got a repeat in there. All right, I'm going to do this till I get to the instep. I've picked up my 15 stitches in pattern. Now I'm ready to go and pick up the instep stitches, also according to chart C, in pattern. So my last stitch on the chart was a B, a B, color B, and the next one, which for me is going back to the beginning of the repeat, is going to be an A. And 1, 2, 3, I'm working that repeat. All right, you're going to do this across all of your instep stitches. All right, I'll see you at the edge of the next side. Okay, we've picked up all of the instep stitches. Now, you'll know you've read the chart right if these stitches fall into place right as a row should. You ended with a row 7, right, down here. And now as we work across row 1 from chart C, it should be exactly as it should be to continue the pattern above those. All right? That's why it was so important to end on a row 7. Okay, now, interestingly enough, usually you would think, well, I picked up 15 stitches over on that other side of the heel, so I must be picking up 15 over here. Well, we're only going to pick up 14. Well, we're only going to pick up a knit 14, and we're going to do something different with that 15th stitch. So let's see. Here we go. Also, we have to go in pattern, so keep following your chart. 1. All right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stitches in pattern. We are not going to knit the next stitch, but we are going to pick it up. So we're going to grab it and we're going to slip it on to needle number 1. There it is. Okay, and that's been the confusing point to people. So instead of knitting that on the side, we picked it up only and we slipped it over to needle number 1. All right, then we can count how many stitches are on our needle. If you pick up through 2 loops like I do, just count those 2 loops as 1 right now. and then cross-check that you have the right number of stitches on each needle. Okay? To begin round 2 of chart C, we're going to go into that pickup stitch that we slipped and treat it as stitch number 1 from the chart. All right, so stitch number 1 from the chart is, oh my goodness, a B stitch for me. Okay, so we're going to knit that. And then the next stitch is also a B stitch for me. There we go. And the next is 2 glues. All right. And I'm knitting across those heel stitches in pattern. And you'll see the break in the chart at this point where the 2 different patterns converge. So I've now got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 stitches on this needle. I'm going to put a marker there. That is the break between the gusset, that's going to be decreasing in that way, and the pattern for the rest of the foot. That just helps you see what's happening. But otherwise, just keep going on your chart. Okay. Again, if you have 5 needles, this is a good place to break. Right where I've put the marker, you could start another needle, and that would help you keep track as well. So that's all there is to it. And now you may wonder, since you've borrowed that stitch and put it on the front here, when does it go back? And that does that at the end of the chart. You'll see where there's a slip stitch to get it back. All right, so I just wanted to make this for you because I know it's a little bit different, and sometimes when we knit socks, we're so used to knitting them and doing the gussets and things that some of the little changes here could really throw us off. All right, that's what you do to end up with this gusset. And I hope that was helpful for you. Let me know if any part of it is still confusing to you. But I hope you enjoy knitting your shadow box socks and enjoy wearing them. I've worn this pair multiple times and washed it a few. It's a great sock.